Okay, I'm going to start this lecture off, try to connect that database that you guys all made. And just so you know, this is take two. So I'm going to create a new project, another Windows form. I'm going to call it data form, just data form. And I'll save it probably just to my desktop. Give it a new form. Database stuff. Select, hit OK. Takes a while. Okay, before we open up Visual Studio, I want you to go log into your actual account. At some point, you're going to need your server's name, so it'd be a good idea actually to get in there now and make sure that it's open, because you're going to have to come back to it. So when I go back to, so I head back to Visual Studio, I've got this form here that I've opened up. I'm going to call this, I'm going to rename it to, I think, data form. Should ask me for, yes, I do. Okay. And maybe I'll do the other editing as well, just to make sure that I'm calling it the right thing. Okay. Right by it. Okay, so I've changed the name of that as well. Okay. So I'm going to put something in there to, I guess, collect some data. So if I go down to here, I'm going to use I think, what do I want to use? A list box. So I'll drop that in there. Okay, and then I'm going to want to populate that. Okay. Okay, so I just opened that up a little bit more. So when I click on this here and I can go to edit items, I can just type in a bunch of names. So Tom, let's go with, say, Linda, Connor, I can't think of anyone else, Rich, Ross, you get the idea. So I've got a bunch of names in there. Okay, so it's somewhat populated. So I'm going to just close that a little bit, make it a bit smaller. We're going to come back to this. Okay, and I hit my Control S just to save it. Okay, one thing I do want to do is change the name of this. What am I going to call this? There, sorry. List box, underscore names. Actually, first names, doesn't matter. Anyway, if I run this, it's pretty much useless. So I want to actually be able to do something with it. Okay, so it's opening up. I can click on this stuff. It looks really, yeah, whatever. It's good enough, but it doesn't really do much for us. So I think what I want to do is actually try and connect that into the database that we started to build in the last video. So if you go to View, there's a couple of different things you want to be looking for, but you've got this SQL Server Object Explorer or Server Explorer. I'm going to go to Server Object Explorer, and notice I've already got them open down at the bottom. So I've got this server and I've got the Server Explorer. And if I open that up, what I want to do is actually connect into my database. So it turns out that I am actually already connected. You're going to come to a screen that asks you to put all your credentials and everything in here. So let's give this a go. Okay, I'm kind of already in because I did it once. Um, but once you get in, like all you're going to be looking to do is put in your username and password. Let's see if I can refresh this. Okay, so one of the issues I'm having is that I've already logged in and done all this stuff. So go to your Server Object Explorer over here. Go to um, SQL Server, add a server, and you should get this window here, right? And if you click your Azure right here, okay, you should start getting all this other stuff here. Now, do yourself a favor right now. Take this, copy and paste it, Control C. Hold on to that right now. But you should be looking at SQL Server Authentication and put in your password like I've done. Remember password, database name. Really hoping that yours is actually going to show up already. If not, you got to get to this point in the screen. And I wish I wasn't already set up, but I am. And I don't want to disconnect everything. So hit the connection. So now what you should see is this, that I'm connected right over here. I'm going to do that drop down there. See what that shows us. Okay, so you should have something opened up that looks similar to this. And what I'm going to do is just click on my Server Explorer, and you can see I've got comp 1098 winter 2020.comp 1098 DBO. You've got tables and views and all that kind of stuff. So if all has gone well, you should be at this point. And it looks like I'm still kind of crunching something here. So okay, so notice also tables. It's got these other ones in here, but I want to put in a new table, and I'm going to do add new table, and it should call up a design view for us. And first thing I do want to do is change this to users. Okay, I'm just going to rename that right off the bat. So we're getting this window next, and notice we're starting off with our primary key. And I think I'll put in first name. And it's going to be a little bit sluggish. You might get this little message constantly over here during this phase. I've been getting this a lot, which is making my whole entire computer slow down like crazy. Okay, finally, I was able to actually do all this. There's an important thing I need you to know about the ID. Because we want it to continue to auto increment, you have to go to identity specification. Is identity equals true? So make sure you set that to true. And just so you know that you can actually deal with these scripts down here. You can type it manually, or you can put it in here however you see fit. But one thing I want to just to show you, I want to update this and var char to 50, and it will update up top. Okay. There, so you see all I did was change it here, and it automatically changes there. Now there does seem to be a little bit of a delay. Don't worry about that if it happens, just wait for it to happen. So now I'm going to go to the top left here where it says update. I'm going to click that, and it's going to take some time to prepare this script, because what it's going to do is actually update over here. It's going to make the table called users with all of our data information. Okay, so it finally came on after about a minute of waiting, and what I'm going to do is hit this button called update database, and you'll see the table called users will end up over here. You could see it's doing all this stuff down on the bottom, creating all the script and everything for it. Okay, so there it is. There's the table right there. And what I want to do is right click on that and say view data. Okay, so this table here has opened up now. Definitely I do not want to touch the ID, but let's go with just any old name, I guess. Put whatever we can in here. Guido Sarducci. I don't know how to spell any of that. Jane Doe. James Cameron, because he's from Niagara Falls. Keanu Reeves. I really don't care how to spell it. Good enough. And I think that's good enough. So, there. Okay, so what we're seeing is our actual SQL table in our scripting, and then we go back to the form. We can click on this, grab this little button here. Okay, use data bound items. So let's click on that, get our data source, and I don't have anything right now. But before I do all that, don't forget a while ago I said go and get this here. And you can actually add that to your clipboard. So add that to your clipboard right now. Go back to here, click on that little thing there. Click this. Add project data source. Okay, data, next, data set, next. And I want to hit this here. Hopefully you're connected. If not, hit the new connection. I'm really hoping that that worked out well for you. You hit that new connection and then follow those steps. I'll do it anyway just to see. So this is the server name. This is what I was talking about before. Mine might actually come up after it stalls out my entire system. Okay, so that was a little bit of waste of time, but I'm going to hit this refresh button, see if anything at all happens. So nothing really of any value happened there. So what I'm going to do is right click on there, and I'm going to paste that information that was there before. Okay. Now, what happens when I test this connection? Windows logins are not supported for this version. Okay, not a problem. All right, so I'm going to go to authentication and SQL Server authentication. Okay, and my username and password. Hopefully I got that in there right. Okay, so I've got everything in there. This is all set up the way I want it to be. I'm going to hit this refresh button one more time. Okay, the one last thing I want to check before I do anything is this. This is what I was ultimately looking for. So this comp 1098, because I put in all of this stuff here and I hit that refresh, my username, password, everything, I click on that comp 1098 and I'm going to hit OK. And beauty. It's right there. That's my new connection, and I want to hit this yes. Okay, so I want to hit yes, include sensitive data in the connection string. And then you can check or uncheck that, but I want you to check that there and notice that that is your, that's the connection string. And that is actually going to end up, this line will end up actually in here in this app config folder there. So I'm going to hit next. Yes, save the connection as that. Next. Okay, so this is what you should be seeing. Okay, tables, users, and it should have your ID, first name, and last name. And there it is. So I'm going to select all of that. Okay, and then I'm going to hit finish. And for some bizarre reason, my entire screen went black with the exception of what I want. So dataset name, comp 1098 dataset, all of these items here, and everything is good to go.